Welcome back to day one of the 2018 Men's Roller Derby Association Championships.
We're super excited to be here.
I'm super excited to be here too. I'm Biggie Talls.
I'm Rippy Longstocking.
We're coming up against the third game of the day. This is Texas Men's Roller Derby Outlaws versus Denver Men's Roller Derby Ground Control. Who's on Texas, Rippy?
On Texas, this is the Outlaws, number 33, Wolfgang, number 126, Lambo Arfides, number 151, The Enabler, number 1962, Bruce Banner, number 20, Jones, number 28, Dr. Feelgood, number 4, Tip, number 448, Pound Town, number 505, Side of Sausage, number 512, Princess, number 56, Danger Zone, number 619, Aquadan, number 86, Buster, and number 9, Rhino, coached today by Great Wall of Gina and Hannah Barbaric.
And for Denver, we have everybody lining up on the track now. For Denver, we have Cruz, number 11, number 18, Ferguson, number 1984, Crunchy, number 207, Judgment Day, 257, Schneider, 36, Lenzo, 4, Baby Stelly, 40, Broderick, 7, Detmer, 7-2, Ragin' Cajun, 7-7, Chet I. Knight, 8-9, Alchemist Prime, 9-8, Sparrow, coached by Disco Akers and Rachel Blackman, with management by D-Day Dahl and Lisa Rockscar Whipperman. First jam just started.
Just like that. Game number 3. And that is Dr. Feelgood picking up lead jammer very quickly before the pivot line.
Both teams are still between the start line and the pivot line right now. This pack moving very slow coming into turn 1. Lots of contact, people changing position back and forth really rapidly here.
Oh, wow. Dr. Feelgood on the inside, but loses some equipment.
Thankfully, he's lead, so he's able to call the jam off.
Yes.
It'll give him a chance to go and locate the equipment.
I do believe one of our skating officials picked up the equipment there, was able to return it to him. Let's see how quickly we can put that back on. It's not good to skate without wheels.
At a tournament a couple of years ago, I saw a skater lose a truck and then make 2 more scoring passes.
Yes.
I don't think that's a normal thing you'd want to do at a championship level tournament.
I saw that as well. Danger Zone facing off against Ferguson at the 5-stride jam line and picking up a penalty. Danger Zone.
Danger Zone did not have lead. Looks like lead goes to Ferguson coming out of the pack there. So that penalty must have been earned before Danger Zone left the pack.
So Ferguson doing a great job working against the defense, comes out of the pack, picks up 5.
Danger Zone still sitting in the penalty box over there. The pack stopped between turns 3 and 4. Denver's all in the back there with Texas all up in the front.
Oh.
Real hard engagement there from number 8-6. That's Buster.
Good job there. Ferguson getting recycled back past the 5-stride jam line. Now the Rydell penalty box is clear.
Danger Zone is back out, facing off against Schneider up there at the front.
Ferguson picking up another 5.
It's a 10-point jam so far. Ferguson still leads, so still in control of this jam. This is still going to be the initial pass for Danger Zone, so no threat of scoring yet.
That is Pound Town picking up a penalty. We'll head to the Rydell penalty box. Slight track advantage to Denver because of that penalty.
Teams really jockeying for position as they come into, as the jammers leave the pack. So
Star pass there. That was to Buster on the Outlaws.
4 more points for Ferguson. That's a total of an 18-point jam.
A decisive run after losing the 5 points in the first jam. They decided to.
A little bit of an assist from a penalty there,
yes,
but
it was.
But it's pretty, with it when it's when all the opposing team has to do is defense. I mean, it speaks really well of your team to be able to turn that moment into some offense.
Yes. Raging Cajun facing off against the Enabler off the 5-stride jammer line. And it's the Raging Cajun out first, picking up lead jammer.
Raging Cajun calling it off after, what is that, 1-5-1? The Enabler makes it out for Texas. Nice quick 4-0 jam.
Very textbook. So far, Texas the only one holding any penalties, just a couple. Everybody's doing a great job of just running good defense and good offensive interference there.
Only the 4th jam, but Denver definitely showing restraint that's getting them a nice clean play so far.
Oh, cut.
Looks like a cut call on number 8-6 Buster for Texas. Made from the outside there, and that was an outside cut.
And that does give Sparrow the opportunity to pick up lead jammer. Control of the track and a power jam.
And Buster an opportunity to sit in the Rydell penalty box and watch as his team tries to keep any points from being scored. However, 5 on the board for Denver. That brings the score to 27-5. It's 5 minutes into the game, coming into Jam 5.
So I think that was Rhino that picked up the low block there at the very end. Yes. That is who is in the penalty box. So this gives a distinct track advantage to Denver with the power start.
Still have not seen any Denver skaters head to the penalty box.
They're just playing it cool. Nice job.
Number 7, Raging Cajun. Shown on your screen as Stelly.
Yes, I guess we should mention that Denver is in white.
Denver is in white.
Texas
is in black.
And their actual names are on their jerseys a lot of times. Yeah.
Well, one of their names, I would say.
Yeah.
We have a list of names.
Yes.
They have a list of names. You're going to see some names mentioned. We'll try to always mention the number so you know exactly who we're talking about.
Oh, nice. Back and forth there. Finally jumps out the Cajun, calling it off, number 72. After losing those points, those 5 points at the very beginning, Denver has put up 40 points on the board since jam number 2.
Yeah, this has really been a Denver story for the last 4 jams.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody lining up there. Texas men's lining up close to the Vault 31 pivot line.
Very quickly, Ferguson picks up lead jammer.
See a lot of very vocal communication going on between the
looks like a
between the Denver players there.
High block picked up by the Enabler will head to the Rydell penalty box.
That makes this a power jam for Denver with Ferguson out there also with lead. So
yes.
A lot of control there for Denver.
We will certainly check out the penalties at the halftime, but I think that's 3 power jams that Denver has had.
I believe you are correct there. So Denver coming into this game ranked lower than Texas. They came into this game ranked 13th in the most recent MRDA rankings. Texas ranked number 7th. But so far, Denver's showing that they're a very controlled team and absolutely deserve to be playing this game against the number 7 team.
Absolutely. Power start. Denver chooses to field Sparrow. Sparrow out of the pack, picking up lead before turn number 2.
The Enabler coming out of the penalty box puts him on his initial pass. It's getting shut down by all the 7s on Denver where they're shutting him down for a second. Detmer, number 7, and Chet Einite, number 77. Does not make it out for any scoring pass. Denver picks up a lone point. Not a lonely point, just a lone point.
It's not lonely. I want to give a shout out to Rydell Skates for sponsoring the 2018 MRDA Championships. Certainly appreciate you letting us come out here and do what we love.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely? You can be on Rydell Skates at a Rydell sponsored skate event.
And also have a smashing good time. Raging Cajun facing off against Dr. Feelgood. Here comes Dr. Feelgood around the inside. Picks up lead jammer for Texas.
That's the first lead jam for Texas since Jam 1.
Oh my goodness! That was insane, and that is why Dr. Feelgood is such a great jammer. Holy.
Texas jammer out. That's number 7-2, Raging Cajun.
Wow.
Looks like no points. Yes, confirmed. No points there for Texas on that one. No points there for Denver on that last pass. So that makes it a 5-0 jam for Texas. That's Texas doubling their score, putting up their first 5 points since the very first jam, making the game currently 55-10.
Dr. Feelgood must do extra stretches to do those apex jumps that long.
Both teams lining up at the pivot line, the Vault 31 pivot line.
And off the 5-stride jammer line comes Ferguson facing off against Danger Zone. Ferguson getting recycled back past the 5-stride jammer line. Meanwhile, a cut track picked up by Danger Zone. Another power jam for Denver.
And lead at the same time.
So this might be a story that we want to research a little bit more over the half, but the jammer penalties is going to make a huge difference here.
Well, penalties in period. I mean, Denver so far has exactly 1 penalty that's earned by Detmer. That is 1 penalty so far.
For the whole team, yeah.
To 6 penalties for Texas. So 7 penalties for Texas. So, I mean, Texas certainly not in trouble in terms of, you're 10 minutes into the game, 7 penalties. That's not a weird pace for one of these games. I mean, it's a little on the higher side, but they're well within the normal. But Denver with 1 penalty, 10 minutes into the game, that's a team playing very, very clean.
Yes.
Off again for Jam 10. Looks like the Denver Jammer was getting held back for a while there by Buster up at the front, but eventually picked up lead. That's lead to Ragin' Cajun on Denver. Texas getting their jammer back out of the box. Cover off on their jammers, so that's number 5-6 Danger Zone. You'll see number 5-6 coming into the back of the pack. He is the jammer at this moment, just does not have the cover visible.
Yeah. In his hand, which is
Totally
fine.
allowed.
Fine.
Can't pick up lead, but he did make it out of the pack. Denver sees that, calls the jam off. Very conservative play there. Matches with their very conservative penalty count. It's a very tightly controlled game so far for Denver.
It is. Everybody really tightly packed there around the 5-stride jammer line.
These teams seem to be switching it up. They'll all pack up by the jammer line. They'll all pack up by the pivot line. Don't want to be spread out at the start of the game, start of the jam.
That's the number 151, the Enabler, facing off against 98, the Sparrow. A little move to the inside for the Enabler, but did not pick up lead.
Number 98 Sparrow coming up really hard from the inside there, but just completely shut down by the Texas blockers. Still trapped in this initial pass. Getting picked up at the back there by Lambo Arfides.
It's unfortunate that the Enabler didn't pick up lead as he came through the pack, but this is no.
Looks like Lambo Arfides earning a penalty for something there. And as soon as Denver comes out, they pick up lead, immediately call off the jam.
That is what you do.
Yeah. Shut it down, take control.
So Enabler was doing what you do when you don't pick up lead coming out of the pack first, is just try to get through and pick up as many rounds as you can.
Make it, you know it's just a matter of time until the opposing jammer picks up lead, and you just need to make it so that that score differential is so much that that they have no choice but to call it off.
And shout out to the defense there of trying to keep Sparrow back from claiming lead jammer so that their jammer could get more points.
Absolutely, while still providing offensive support.
Dr. Feelgood is out, but did not earn lead.
I believe actually there is lead there for Dr. Feelgood.
The jam ref was saying.
I know there was some confusion there, but
I guess they did
was a call off,
you're
so
right.
it must have
Thank
been a
you.
late award.
Yes. For those of you who are watching at home, we have 2 giant screens in front of our faces.
Yes.
So sometimes
We're behind the
miss
wall
a
of
few
screens.
things. We are.
Denver Coach Disco Akers, coming out from the Apex Wellness Center team bench there to talk to the officials for a second, not stopping the game, just coming out and talking for a few seconds. Denver now up to 2 penalties.
So that's the enabler out of the pack, picking up lead jammer, number 151 for Texas.
9 penalties so far for Texas. So still a third penalty just picked up there for Denver. That's a second penalty for Detmer. Still a big differential in penalty counts between these 2 teams.
Now Ferguson is also out of the pack for Denver. It's number 18.
Nice jump
nice.
and call off there. This little congratulations from his teammates, and picks up 4 points. It's exactly how you want one of those to go. Make it a nice 9-0 jam. That really moves the needle for Texas. They're now at 31 to Denver's 63. And after that big drought there that lasted 6 jams, it's really nice to see them putting points back on the board. These are a bunch of great players, and it's really obvious that they can put points on the board.
Great.
Just got to get in the game and be right here.
This quiet moment of conversation gives me an opportunity to tell you about Vault 31. It's a bar opening up in Vancouver, Washington, early 2019. Let Vault 31 be your destination for roller derby watch parties, esports, music, and more. Visit vault31bar.com for more information, or find Vault 31 on Facebook and give the page a like to be updated on events.
Excellent. Esports and roller derby at a bar.
Just a watch party at a bar. That's amazing and wonderful.
Hey, and Vault 31, fun fact, it's owned by a Bridgetown skater.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome.
It says on this sheet right in front of us.
Oh, I didn't read that far down. Awesome.
It's,
Why, thank you.
you know, I don't have some amazing insight. I just
I thought you
read a
just
different
had
part of the piece
all
of paper.
kinds of secret knowledge that I did not have.
So during this team timeout, both teams coming out from their benches, coming out from the Apex Wellness Center benches, talking to their teams, talking to the officials, just taking advantage of this little pause in the game to get everything together. I can totally understand Denver seeing Texas putting some points up, wanting to shut that down. Texas getting some points up, want to keep that going. We'll see in the next few jams which team puts some momentum behind that.
So coming off the 5-stride jammer line is Dr. Feelgood and Ragin' Cajun. Yes, Ragin' Cajun 72. Around the outside does pick up lead jammer with a nice spin there. Dr. Feelgood, number 28 in the black, looking for an inside lane and actually cuts the track.
Yeah.
We'll head to the Rydell penalty box.
High risk action there. Turns out that risk did not pay off this time. Now, Dr. Feelgood has done some great moves along the inside line, so I can totally understand taking that risk. But in this case, it gives Denver a power jam.
Oh, nice little spin move on one foot.
It's actually surprisingly effective blocking up there by Denver at the front. They were doing some offensive blocking for their jammer and ended up baiting Texas into sort of a deep response to that ended up opening up a hole for their jammer. So really smart play there by Denver. Really good work on Texas's part, responding to the hit, but just cat and mouse game there, cat and mouse game. Now, this is the first power jam given the other direction.
Like I had to pause for a minute and make sure I was going to make the right call, and I did.
Oh, yeah.
It is the Ragin' Cajun picking up I think that was blocking with the head, yes?
Yeah, he was coming and swinging
And,
around. I did not see the penalty, but I would believe that penalty.
And so we'll head to the Rodale penalty box, and this is the first time for Denver that they've sent a jammer there.
Paired up with the pivot, too, so this is the first time Denver's had 2 players in the box at once.
So Dr. Feelgood going to take as much advantage as humanly possible. Did not pick up the entire group that time.
Ragin' Cajun coming out of the box, coming around now just in front of Dr. Feelgood. Engaging a nice setup wall there at the back for Texas. Texas doing a great job of setting up these plays in advance of the jammer coming through. Nice spin there.
Very, very low to the ground. So I do love when scores are, 37-73.
Yes. Oh, I believe if you are playing a game, that's a palindrome. And I think there's something you do at that point.
Do you drink?
Yeah. Well, I don't. I mean, I do, but I
afternoon.
don't. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
So
I'm sure we have some folks over in England watching.
Yeah, there are. Those folks. It's 9:30ish.
So we're 20 minutes into this period. We're 20 minutes into the first half here. Denver picking up the lead. That's Ferguson picking up the lead jammer. Texas jammer Lambo Arfides making it out. I don't know if we've seen Lambo up jamming very much.
No, not at all so far, as the off the jammer line has been in the pivot position a couple of times, but not hasn't had the opportunity to take the star. And didn't actually, Denver picking up the points, calling it off, didn't actually allow him to get back around in this go around either.
Absolutely, a little bit of threat against your jammer, just go ahead and call it off.
Yes.
Take the points you've earned so far. It's worked in roller derby for a long time.
So off the five-stride jammer line, it's 98 Sparrow facing off against 151 the Enabler.
Start of that jam, both Bruce Banner and Buster on Texas doing some real shutdown of the Denver jammer there. And result is that Texas is able to pick up the lead. Both jammers are out, but the Enabler has the lead. So control of this jam.
Everybody moving up very quickly.
This is 3 blockers to 3 blockers. Both teams having 1 in the penalty box, although Texas goes until they get their player out of the penalty box. That means that leaves just 1 Denver player in the penalty box to start the next jam. Ultimately a 4-2 jam in favor of Texas. So a good opportunity for them to empty the box and also put some points, some advantage in their points on the board.
Yes.
Everybody lining up at that start of that jam on the Vault 31 pivot line.
Oh, Dr. Feelgood took a little fall there and just kind of waited for people to skate around, and then suddenly broke through and picked up lead jammer.
Ragin' Cajun there in turn 1 doing an absolutely wonderful step around an opponent on the inside line there, just 1 foot down, and around.
Dr. Feelgood taking a look, seeing what's up.
The pack starts racing right there at the end of the jam. End result is a 0-0 jam. Very defensive play by both teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's always interesting to me how teams can just sort of agree together silently to both take off, and then they're doing it.
And they are, yes.
It's like the Ouija board of pack speed.
It is, and that was a very, very fast pack there. I think Dr. Feelgood was like, I can run around, or I can call it.
9 minutes remaining in the first period at the start of Jam 18. Opposite of a fast pack right now, starting out real slow.
Yep.
Dr. Feelgood fighting there against Baby Stelly, number 4 up at the front.
Okay.
Eventually getting out there and getting lead with some real powerful stepping.
Ferguson took a spill there, is not looking healthy, but is out of the pack. Took the star off, I think, as the pivot was coming out of the box.
Texas has been getting more aggressive about their blocking compared to the start of the game. The start of the game was put yourself there, this part of the game is now getting into more of a put yourself into that person there. That's a little rougher on jammers, and that can really tire them out.
Yes.
Of course, all of these teams on this first day really have to manage their energy levels.
Right.
They need to bring enough to win the game, but they still have day 2 and day 3 to play.
Yes, if you guys missed game 1 and 2 of these champs, you missed some really hard-fought games. I'm concerned about some of the teams finding enough energy to play their remaining games. They just really fought hard.
Tip up there at the front holding down the Denver Jammer.
That was the Raging Cajun number 72. You can see him coming out of the pack just like, wow, that was a lot of work.
Texas Jammer comes out of the pack, but gets no lead because the star has been brushed off.
Right.
So the star was invisible. Now that's 151, the enabler. I did not see him remove the star, but there's been a lot of contact there, so real easy for that to come off. Of course, end result there is Denver picks up lead, shuts the jam down, and because the enabler had put his star back on, the enabler is able to pick up 1 point there before the end of the jam.
Yeah. That's so unfortunate. Like I know it happens in gameplay, but just to lose your star after all that battling.
29-point gap on the score right now. That's 79 for Denver, 50 for Texas. That gap's pretty similar to the way the gap has been ever since about Jam 6 or Jam 7 when Denver took an early lead. So much closer to matching points now for Texas and Denver. Of course, with that early lead, that means Texas is going to have to put a little more work in if they want to get back up ahead.
So that was Ferguson off the 5-stride jammer line, just picking up lead jammer, trying to get through, call it off, but it looks like Dr. Feelgood was able to sneak in a couple of there too.
He holds up 2. His jammer ref holds up 2. Looks like they agree.
2-2, yeah.
Official timeout. Skating officials for this game are Bambi Lance, umpire strikes back, Kurt's So Good, Rockstar, Ria Culpa, Lobo Cop, Il Presidente, and Shorty. Note I ran 8 of them. One of those is the alternate. The rest of them you'll see on skates right now. Who are the non-skating officials there, Rippy?
The non-skating officials are Tenacious D Cup, Tumble Tina, 9-inch Wheels, India Pale Al, D Baggins, Read the Rules. Sorry, that got me tickled. Okay, Justice Deliver Her, Push Up Zebra, Bola Constrictor, and Amy Farrell Fowler.
Yeah, we've got both those D's there in the middle. The matching D's. It throws you off when you read the list.
I have read them before, and yet it still tickles me. So, yeah, that's a good derby name. If you can make your announcer giggle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And not blush.
Right.
Not sure what this official timeout is about. Hopefully the alt ref will give us some information on it. Of course, both the teams seem to be in pretty good spirits. You actually see them out there on the pivot line. That's the Vault 31 pivot line. Just, laughing, chatting. Both teams definitely into this game. Got one in the penalty box over there. Can you see who that is over there in the penalty box? It looks like number 4, Baby Stelly.
I believe you're correct. That's Baby. Yep. Well, there you go.
Hey, there's a shot of Baby Stelly. I think there.
They're going to do close-ups for us.
Sitting there in the right L penalty box, contemplating what to do as soon as he gets out.
Probably not that sad for a few minutes of rest.
I would not be surprised there. Looks like Great Wall of Gina coming over there for the Texas team, talking to Jammer. Jammer's, that's Dr. Feelgood. That it looks like Dr. Feelgood.
As I said, we are
of course, the numbers are on the
in
back.
a spot. I think that's Buster because he has the protective lenses.
Oh. I can't see any numbers.
Yeah. So those of you watching at home, we are really
we're buried over
in
here
a corner, but we can see a lot, and we'll tell you what we can see.
See, that's what we can see.
That's what we can see.
So I wish I were better at spotting everybody. I'm like skaters; they have numbers on, right?
They do, but they are notoriously good at hiding them.
Sneaky.
Standing in such a way that one number is hidden. Let me tell you about who's me tell you about another sponsor. Let's do that.
There we go. And I can't even cheat because the person who's on the people who are on the bench have most of their numbers hidden
It's
too.
Danger Zone.
Okay, you got this?
Danger Zone. That's who it is.
Oh, we've got a number on the back, 5-6.
Yes.
There we go, Danger Zone. I'm saved.
Okay.
Sorry, next time I'll look better before I
That's right.
mention.
I mean, you know. Jump over to Apex Wellness Center, offering chiropractic, massage, and acupuncture to help you get back on the track. Located in Portland, Oregon. Integrated healthcare at its peak. That's Apex Wellness Center.
So still in this official timeout.
So I will say we have been talking about penalties a little bit, Biggie, and Denver, it's everybody, pretty much everybody just kind of has one. They're just sharing. Just, you know, it's your turn to go to the box, and your turn. Only one player with two.
At 7, Detmer.
And so Texas has a couple of players that are spending more time in the box than others. Pound Town has 4 right now, and so that's got to be something that Pound Town needs to be aware of as we head into further gameplay about keeping that.
There we
there
go.
we go. See? Technology is good. So Pound Town is the one that needs to sort of keep things a little more under control here. And then there you have the Denver penalty board where everybody's just kind of sharing. Who's going to share?
Yeah. So
Everybody just take one. We can do fancy things on the screen.
yeah, they gave us controls. I'm not sure this was a good idea. Oh, looks like we just found out the reason for the official timeout. That is an expulsion on Denver.
So Baby Stelly was in the box, and that may have just been an egregious. I'm so sorry that we didn't catch that. The head referee just explained that Baby Stelly had been expelled.
From the game.
We
have a microphone. We didn't turn it up.
We did not turn up the microphone, and that is our bad. So what she said was, Baby Stelly has been expelled from the game for the egregious foul, and so Denver will be missing a very important blocker. Okay, so we have a forearm called on Jones, and then also a cut track.
So it looks like 2 calls landing.
Yeah. On the Raging Cajun. So it was 2 calls immediately, just right back to back. So that was a forearm for Jones and a cut track for the Raging Cajun. So lead jammer status awarded to Texas and a power jam.
So Danger Zone forced out of bounds over there. Starts to come back in, realizes he's going to get a cut, comes back out of bounds, looks back to the team bench, the Apex Wellness team bench, and is told to keep rolling. So that's what he's doing.
Going.
So we just received written confirmation of exactly what we missed turning the microphone up on. That's White
Right.
4 was expelled for an egregious
For the
forearm.
egregious, yeah. So that penalty for which he was sent to the box ended up being an egregious one. So
However, in that expulsion, it looks like both teams calmed down a little. 9 points put on the board for Denver. No penalties. Nobody's sitting in the Rydell penalty box right now.
on the 5-stride jammer line, it's number 98, Sparrow, facing off against 151, the Enabler, and it's the Enabler out first, but Sparrow is keeping on the heat.
Yeah, this is one of those jams where you've got a lot of choices to make.
Oh.
Looks like just shutting it down, probably 0-0.
Yeah.
Confirmed 0-0.
Well, when you take a little spill like that right as you're coming in, it just...
I'm trying to get
just
low,
call it.
keep the speed, turn. I mean, this is hard stuff to do.
Yes, it is.
A lot of these skaters make this skating look really easy, but it's years of training. It's years of hundreds of hours, if not thousands by the time you've actually
Right.
trained to this level
Right.
of time spent skating and at rinks.
So it kind of, at certain angles, it looks like this is a concrete floor, but it is not. It is a sport court. And so there are occasionally little bubbles in the sport court, which doesn't make it easy to skate on either.
Jam
track cut.
23 starting here.
Track cut picked up by Ferguson. Dr. Feelgood already with the lead, comes through, picks up an additional 5.
Dr. Feelgood signaling stuff to his team. And then
Oh.
just going right down the outside line.
Spin, spin, spin.
Duck, bob, move, just get out of the way. And it's Denver blocker after Denver blocker after Denver blocker. Great looking hits coming in, but they're just, Dr. Feelgood is 1/2 step ahead of them.
He really must take ballet. I really just believe that in my heart. Dr. Feelgood coming through again, also staying in the center track, which is a wise move.
I think if he went to the Matrix, he learned judo, not kung fu. Because he's just absorbing people's hits and
Yes.
using them against them.
Noticing the jammer out of the Rydell penalty box, Dr. Feelgood decides to call it off. 15 points, and just like that, we're at 5-point differential.
Yeah. Texas
Just
has
like that.
made up for that
Yes.
early lead that Denver put on the board. This is basically a one power pass,
Right.
but one pass game right now.
Yes. And so that is an official timeout. Looks like the head referee wants to have a little moment.
Not sure what
With the
happened
crew?
there. Disco Akers was out from the Apex Wellness bench on Denver's side, talking with Bambulance, the other inside pack referee, and then umpire strikes back. The head referee called an official timeout, so they're having a quick conversation right now. Both teams taking advantage of this moment to have quick conversations themselves. I mean, I'm assuming they're talking about where they're going to go after this, and what their favorite TV show is right now.
What they would like to eat for dinner.
Actually, they're probably talking about what they're going to do in the next jam.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's just me that's thinking about dinner. I'm always thinking about food.
How hobbitsy of you.
So the winner of this game will go on to play Bridgetown at 7 p.m. I'm sorry, my font is very small, but yes, that is correct. The winner of this game will play Bridgetown at 7.
That's not a big pause to recover.
It is not.
So this is a very tough spot it puts these teams in. As they come into this last 2 minutes of this first half, I mean, they have to work hard enough to win this game, but not so hard that they have nothing to play with Bridgetown again,
Right.
against Bridgetown with.
And that'll be a tough game because Bridgetown
Certainly a good team.
came in without having to play anyone but to get to where they are, right? They came in already seated, so they were just...
Both jammers out. Texas picking up the lead. Denver coming out not too far behind,
1 point.
but just far enough behind. It looks like a few more than that. I'm seeing 4 held up there. It looks like 4 points for Texas. Oh, you mean 1 point
1 point
as in...
differential, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 80 to 81. I hadn't looked at the totals there yet after talking about it. Again, wall of monitors.
It is a wall of monitors. There's so many. It's so many things to look at one time. Difficult. That's Sparrow on the line facing off against Dr. Feelgood. And Sparrow is out first, but Dr. Feelgood is just powering up across the straightaway. Sparrow's going to call it off, but I think Dr. Feelgood picked up quite a few there. 4.
Looks like a party jam. 4-4. Everybody gets some points.
Everybody. So we're still at a 1 point game. There are only this game has gone by so fast for me. Less
Right.
than 30 seconds left.
Yeah. About to start Jam 26. Looks like, unless something very strange, aliens on the track happens, this should be the last jam of the half. coming into it 85-84 in favor of Denver, so it's a 1-point game.
Both teams really want to go into the half in the lead.
But only one gets to.
That's correct.
That's 5-6 danger zone, making it out there on 1 foot, getting lead.
Oh, Ferguson also just tiptoeing around.
So danger zone just has to pick up a 1-point differential here in this last jam to tie it, and 2 points to change the mix. And you can tell Denver knows that. They're working their way up. Oh, look at that. Looks like Ferguson picked up all 4 points.
Ferguson got 4, yes.
Danger zone only picking up 2, so
2.
it actually spreads the score just a little bit wider than it was.
So we will go into halftime.
Oh, no, it looks like an official review.
An official review. I apologize.
Oh,
you said aliens landing. Here you go.
Well, I don't think we're going to get another jam because there is no time left on the clock. So it would take aliens landing on the track for us to get another jam at this point.
When our head referee speaks into the microphone, we will allow you to hear it yourself this time.
Oh, I'm ready. I turned that up right now.
Saw you. So this official review called by Denver.
And Coach Disco Akers out there talking to the officials for a moment. Officials coming together.
So I think the official.
I suspect what's going on here is to maintain the schedule.
Yes.
They're ending the half, so that is now halftime. So I'm Biggie Talls.
And I'm Rippy Longstocking.
And that was the first half of the 2018 MRDA Championships game, Texas versus Denver. Score coming into halftime is 89 for Denver, 86 for Texas.
It's been really exciting.
Yeah.
Texas really came out kind of slowly, but then once they calmed down and stopped visiting the penalty box, and they were just really able to come back and come within, what are we, 3 points now? Yeah.
Yeah. Really, Denver came out, almost no penalties at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Texas was putting penalties on the board. So it's almost like Texas cooled down and Denver amped up, but on getting penalties.
Right.
And I think the score reflects that.
Yeah.
Totally curious to see what happens in the second half.
I know.
Hope you're here
So
with us to see the second half of this exciting game.
Yes.
Thank you.
Come back. Okay. I think we're getting ready to be back. We are.
We are. Welcome back to the Game 3 Friday at 1 p.m. of the 2018 MRDA Championships. This is Texas Men's Roller Derby versus Denver Men's Roller Derby. Rippy, what do you think of that first half there?
Okay, so there was a lot happening in the first half, as we were talking about over halftime. First of all, Texas came out with a lot of jammer penalties.
Yeah.
3 in the first, 10 minutes you said?
Something around there, yeah.
Something like that. And so Denver was able to really capitalize on that and put a lot of points on the board early.
Absolutely. They put a solid, around a 25, 30-point lead, depending on which jam we were in.
Yep.
Very early. A bunch of unanswered points there.
And then Texas was able to calm it down a little bit.
Yep.
They've put fewer people in the penalty box so far.
And really consistently, they've been spread around. It's not like they have a couple of players that are really getting penalties.
Right.
And we've had that expulsion on Denver.
Yes.
So number 4, Baby Stelly, was expelled in the first half. Mm-hmm. Baby Stelly was a super effective blocker up to that point.
Really nice, doing a great job on the track.
So I think it's going to come down to what they did to put their minds back in this game at the halftime.
Yeah, it's got to be a real morale killer to have a teammate, especially in a championship game, to not be with you on the track anymore.
I have confidence that both of these teams got their head together during the half, and we're going to have some nice, clean derby here.
I think so.
We're ready to start the second period. As soon as we have the officials give the 5-second warning, looks like there's a quick conversation going on right there.
I think that the official review we had at the very end of that first half, we might receive the ruling here in the second half.
Yes, we did not receive the ruling during the halftime. I believe it's going to the teams right now, so we'll keep an eye out here for it. So no results coming back there. As soon as we get some, we will let you know.
Yes. So we are off in the second half. This is Dr. Feelgood facing off against the Raging Cajun. Again, Denver in the white and Texas in the black.
Looks like Dr. Feelgood out there in the front, picking up lead with one blocker opposing right there at the end. Takes it about halfway around the track before Denver makes it out as well. So now definitely a threatened jam, but already picking up points.
Oh.
It's like calling off the jam. Got 3 points, so 3-0 in favor of Texas. That ties the game.
Alchemist Prime trying to keep Dr. Feelgood from getting past him, but that Dr. Feelgood can just spin so well.
Said judo. It's all judo. I think the whole Texas team
takes judo.
Cross trains in judo.
So this is the Vault 31 pivot line. Everybody was lining up at that pivot line at the beginning of last half, but they moved up.
So this jam starting with you can see an advantage there for Texas. That's 2 Denver blockers in the box right now. So Denver picking up 2 penalties right out of the gate there in that first jam. Texas picking up lead, shutting down Denver's scoring.
So as we mentioned, Lambo Arfides not fielded as a jammer right off, always wearing the pivot stripe, but that time off the jammer line, picking up lead jam, putting up the points and calling it off.
And 4 points changes the lead. So this is now a Texas lead for the first time since Jam 1 in the first period.
Off the 5 stride jammer line, we have number 151, the Enabler, and number 98, Sparrow.
The Enabler making it out in the front after getting opposed by 257 Schneider from Denver. Gets around and re-engages the pack just as the Denver jammer there, Sparrow, gets out of the front of the pack, so choosing to let it run.
That track advantage to Texas. The defense just not able to hang on to the Enabler on that other pass. Now they've got the full complement out there, and they're able to make a connection with the hip.
I like this move by Texas. You've picked up lead. You definitely, that's a morale booster for your team. You've got a good jammer out there. You've got control. Go ahead and let it run for a little bit. Let your other jammers sit for a moment so that they can come out and be really effective in the next jam too.
And just want to give a shout out to Aquadan, who has been sitting in the middle of the Denver tripod, trying to just keep enough distance to allow space for the jammer.
So a small downside to that keeping it run strategy is, of course, it exposes your jammer to risk. So no lead now. The 44 seconds are just going to run because the Texas jammer is sitting in the box.
We have had a star pass to Snyder.
So Enabler definitely sitting with a couple of points, and we'll get a chance to get back out of the box. But meanwhile, Denver just has to worry about scoring points.
And Schneider working hard against one defender at a time, just slowly working past.
Yeah, knock one down, move on. Knock one down, move on.
So at the front there, Jones, Wolfgang, and Wolfgang picking up a penalty and tip, all trying to hang on to people, but one by one headed to the Rydell penalty box.
At the very end of that jam, hope you caught it, the Enabler ran just one skate down the inside line, That was a lap against the Denver jammer, so Texas picking up a full 5 points for that pass. This is almost a wash, this jam. It's a 15-14 jam, 1 point in favor of Texas.
So it keeps Texas in the lead at 107.
I'm sorry, correction, 14-14. That was a tied-up jam.
Yes. Sorry, you're right.
It was a late change, just as you were saying. 107-103 in favor of Texas going into this jam.
So Ferguson back on the 5-stride jammer line for Denver. It's number 18. And Dr. Feelgood for Texas.
Lead ultimately going to Dr. Feelgood there.
Yes. Oh, track cut picked up by Ferguson.
Ferguson looking a little indignant about it as he heads to the penalty box, but goes straight there, sits down. Going to do his 30 seconds in the right L penalty box, come back on the track, go back to playing.
So as we were saying, Texas came out kind of hot under the collar, spent a lot of time in the penalty box, managed to cool it down, and now it looks like that maybe this is the advice we need to give to Denver.
I mean, Denver meanwhile, being still full of super effective blockers.
Yes.
Doing a great job of holding down and occupying the Texas opponents.
So Ferguson will, of course, be the jammer here for Denver, standing in the right L penalty box. And Texas has chosen to field Lambo Arfides, who was very effective on the last jam that which he had to start. Oh, nice little jump there. Manages to stay in bounds. That was miraculous.
Ferguson came out of the penalty box, so Denver is still able to pick up lead, and they do.
Does, yes. So Lambo Arfides now trying to drive Ferguson out, and does.
Of course, running the clock down doesn't really favor Denver, but Lambo looks to be just trying to get a call off there.
Yeah.
Of course, every moment that since the only blockers in the box were Texas blockers, every second that Denver spent there takes some time off the penalties for Texas.
So Texas sitting at 112, Denver 107. 23 minutes left in the second half of this game.
Looks like an official timeout.
Okay, looks like just clarifying some things here on the board.
Both coaches coming out from the Apex Wellness Center team benches to talk to their teams for a second.
Sure, every pause gives them an opportunity to say a few words of encouragement and remind them about certain strategies.
Or in the case of the moment here that Squakers is taking to talk to the head referee and try to get clarification on something.
And of course that rolling whistle means the timeout is over.
Right now, in case you haven't spotted it, the Denver is on the Vault 31 pivot line side of the screen, and Texas is on the 5-stride jammer line side of the screen.
It's Raging Cajun trying to come through on the outside quickly there, gets pushed out of bounds.
Stays in bound long enough to probably pick up a point, but not to make it past. See what happens here with the call-off strategy. Obviously in control, able to call it off. Looks like maybe one for Texas. Yep, one for Texas.
And a timeout called by Texas. Quickly, wow.
5 for Denver, so it's tied back up.
So those of you playing that other game.
Yeah, there's another game where every time there's a lead change, get prepared because somebody's coming out of this next jam as lead. Of course, we got to wait 60 seconds first because we've got a team timeout. Team timeout gives us a moment to shout out again to Vault 31 Bar. Vault 31 be your destination for roller derby, watch parties, esports, music, and more. Visit vault31bar.com for more information. It's located, opening soon in Vancouver, Washington, and owned by a Bridgetown skater.
I'm just going to say this. Before you hit the track, hit this.
Fair enough.
That's my entire read.
And it's a very solid read.
It is. You know, sometimes you don't need more information. Just hit this.
2-8 Dr. Feelgood appears to be lined up there for Texas as this team timeout ends.
I'm thinking that Sparrow, number 98, beside Dr. Feelgood.
We'll know in a second there. Hey, there we are. You are absolutely correct. 98 Sparrow. Almost full complement. Texas has one blocker sitting in the box as both teams start at the...
Sparrow tries to make the inside line, doesn't quite nail it. While both defenses working really hard on the jammers here, no one is out of the pack here. We're still at the Vault 31 pivot line.
Both teams really, the blockers switching back and forth between roles very quickly.
Yes.
This is super effective derby there in shutting down the opposing team while still trying to make some air for your jammer. Ultimately, it works for Denver. They end up picking up lead at the front. But
both of them look really out of breath as they come around the straightaway.
And Texas is not far behind.
Yes. Sparrow makes it through with 1 point.
It's 1 point each team, if we can believe the hands held up in the air. Then that means it is still tied. We went from 113 to 114.
Wow. That was a quick shot of Vancouver waiting.
Everybody lighting up at the Vault 31 pivot line until they're not.
They just changed their minds.
Yeah.
That's happened a lot so far this game.
Flexibility and adaptability.
It is.
Let's call it that.
The enabler facing off against Raging Cajun. Raging Cajun looking for the outside line but gets driven out of bounds.
Lots of big hits here, sending their
Yes.
opponents down to the floor. It's actually making a tough spot for the jammers because sometimes the jammer can't take the path because they'd have to kick a person to get there. So
Right.
they're having to step or jump over another player. Ultimately on this one, is at 1-5-1, the enabler picking up lead for Texas, making it back into score as Stelly, number 7-2 for Denver, comes out and around.
I don't think, it was so close, but
Yeah, that was so close to picking up a
Yes.
point there for Stelly, wasn't it?
But the jam ref says no, so
We got to believe the jam ref.
you've got to believe the jam ref because we are not down on the track and we don't know.
Coming into Jam 9 here, 10 minutes into the second half of Game 3 of 2018 MRDA Championships.
That's Lambo Arfides back out there again. With the star, again, we said in the first half, not on a regular rotation for Jammer, but this half so far, right in there with the other Jammers.
Having a little vocal disagreement there with one of the outside pack referees around whether something was a penalty or not, but getting right back in on the track, working on, got the star off right now, but it's still in Lambo's hand for the moment.
Ferguson does make it out of the pack, picks up lead Jammer for Denver.
Lambo
Yes.
coming into the back of the pack again, star in his hand still.
Wow, that defense is so strong. They get Ferguson on the side of their bodies, which is the place you don't want to be stuck.
And all this lateral movement from Denver's team, you can tell it's really frustrating Lambo.
Yeah. Ferguson out of the pack, trying to catch a breath. Let me just get a breath before I have to go back in there.
And hey, you got lead, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Better to come in at full power than to...
Now Cruz is out there
your own
trying to run some interference, but Texas is able to get back in and reform and put their hips back together. And
Lambo Arfides finally making it out, dropping the star, But thankfully, mercifully, the jam is called off before he has to run back and pick it up out of turn 4.
Ferguson holding on to, looks just out of breath. Just looks out of breath.
Now, that was an 8-point jam for Denver, putting us to 122, 118 Texas. So we just had a Texas lead change, and now we have a Denver lead change.
So y'all get your beverages ready, because this one might be one of those.
Make sure you're drinking the right beverage there.
Said that's Dr. Feelgood making the spin moves. Oh.
I almost felt that one.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to make sound effects into the mic, but man, you could tell, like right on his tailbone.
Yeah. Ow.
Oh, I'm feeling sympathy pains.
Yet everybody is just going at this still, full steam.
Oh. Wow. I want to say.
Looks like preparing to.
That is Lenzo.
Okay, signaling, and there's the call off. That was a call off. I think you could read that it was going to happen from space.
Now, Lenzo was the one delivering those really massive hits, just one after the other. Just, I like to give shout-outs to the defensive players out there because, they're not as sexy, they're not making all the points, they don't have the star, but they're doing amazing work. And the Jammers couldn't do the work that they do without their blockers opening up the track. And
for every blocker you hear us highlight, there's probably 40 actions that we don't mention at all. You can see them on your screen, but mad props to the blockers. An example right now, you've got 257 there, Schneider working down the outside, trying to make air on the outside of the track.
And the enabler takes it. Oh, little pile up there between Sparrow.
Sparrow looking to get up just a little bit slower. I can understand it.
And that was Aquadan there, yeah.
We're 45 minutes of gameplay in. You're getting beat up.
I'm telling you that.
Still out there, getting up, doing the work, and getting out, making it so that Texas has to earn these points.
Yes. And the pressure on. Jammers getting stuck there behind. That's again Aquadan just doing the work there.
Both Jammers scoring right now. Sparrow number 9-8 taking the star off, looking for a star pass to Riviera. Star pass is complete. So Riviera number 8-9 now the jammer for Denver.
Now, so the enabler is out there.
Riviera also Alchemist Prime.
Yeah, sorry, 89. We have lots of names.
I read both the names.
Yeah. So 1 point for Texas, 0 points for Denver.
That makes it overall a 10-4 jam in favor of Texas. So Texas widening the lead a little bit, but you can't really call it a wide lead.
You can't. This game has gone back and forth so much here recently. We still have a little over 14 and a half minutes left to go.
Now, after hard-fought jam, look at that. Denver setup that just makes a gap right down the inside line.
And this is Lenzo.
Yeah, number 36 Lenzo, who have we seen Lenzo jam this
I don't
game?
believe so. Just powerhousing through, but no,
a penalty called, but then it turns out that penalty was pulled back, so there must have been impact of another penalty negating that penalty. Lenzo comes immediately right back out on the track, picks up the 5 points that he had picked up in that pass.
Lenzo may just have a set of fresh legs after not jamming, because some of the jammers that we expect to pull those double-digit jams, they've just gotten beaten up out there.
Number 5-6 Danger Zone out for Texas now, so in scoring position, but no points actually put on the board. Texas doing a better job of holding down Lenzo on this pass, holding Lenzo to 3 points. Looks like I'm seeing 2 points on the
7 total.
I'm seeing 7 total.
Oh,
I saw
but
I saw 5 and 3 from the jammer ref. I'm sure it'll get sussed out in a second. The scoreboard will be accurate. So don't believe announcer math. Announcers don't do math.
Oh, there we go.
We can't count past 5.
Wait a minute. 11 is what the scoreboard is showing now, but I think we're going to get this straightened out here to make sure that we have the correct.
There is an official review going. Official review looks like it's a Texas official review.
That is where our official is pointing to Texas.
I believe that's Texas coach Great Wall of Gina out there having talked to the officials.
So if we have the opportunity to hear from our head skating official, we will certainly allow you to hear that on the feed.
We're ready here.
We are ready.
Meanwhile, I want to take a second to give a shout out to Rydell Skates for sponsoring the 2018 MRDA Championships, along with all of the volunteers, the officials, the players, the media production staff, the security. I could probably keep going on and on. The vendors,
people who made the food
sponsors.
Today, shout out.
Yes, and Rydell Skates as a big sponsor for the 2018 MRDA Championship. So it takes every single one of us to make this event happen. It takes every single one of you to make this event happen.
We do appreciate all of you on the feed watching us. We love this so much. We appreciate you tuning in and watching us do this. I mean, not us. They're not really watching us.
No, they're not watching us.
They're
They're
watching
watching
skaters,
they're
but-
watching these skaters. Well, while we're in this official review here, I'm going to go ahead and put up the penalty counts for you all.
Yeah, we haven't looked at those in a little bit. Now you see Pound Town came into this half with 4. So I just want to point out, like, even though 5, and that's when they turn yellow, came into this half with 4. So
Yeah.
only 1 this
Yeah.
entire half. So it really has calmed it down a lot.
And looking at Denver's, you can see Denver still maintaining a lower penalty count. Look, not the same sort of cleanliness they did for the, well, let's call it hygiene. Not the same sort of penalty
I like
hygiene
That's nice.
that they did for the first 10 minutes. But definitely still keeping control and playing some really solid derby.
Mhm. It's really been a great game. The rankings, the ranking numbers don't quite do justice to the kind of play that we've been seeing out here. The differential might imply that it was going to be a little bit more of a blowout.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
it's wrong.
I mean, Rippy, there's still 13 minutes left.
There are.
Anything could happen. I mean, aliens on the track. We
That's
could
right.
have a 450 point. I think that these teams are not going to let that happen.
No, I think
We're going to
not.
keep seeing tight, controlled play from both teams. We're going to keep seeing really effective blocking. We're going to keep seeing really powerful jamming. We're going to keep seeing what have really been the hallmarks of this game so far. And if this is the, only game 3,
I
and
know,
everybody's
right?
still bringing more for the rest of the weekend, and we have so many other teams that are going to be bringing different strategies, different training. I'm excited for all of
I
this.
know. I mean, it's been such a powerful tournament so far, and we're only 3 games into it, and it's been a huge joy to watch. I just, they must have some magic elixir somewhere that they've planned to drink for the rest of these games because they have worked so hard, all of the teams.
It's probably called 5 Monster Bowl. It's 5 Monster Bowl. That's what they drink.
That's it. It must be magical. Getting to take a look at the benches over here. Everybody getting a break. That's a benefit of a long official review. It's just to catch your breath a minute.
Oh, looks like almost, just get yourself centered again, sitting
Right.
there in the Apex Wellness Center team bench.
Get a little focus back. Catch your breath.
A reminder again, all our officials are volunteers. I mean,
Yes.
almost everybody here is a volunteer. And all of our officials are volunteers. Many of them have come from out of state or out of the country, just like the teams. They've trained for years, except they haven't been training as one team for years. So they get to show up
Right.
here and with the first whistle of the game, be a team.
Yep.
I give a lot of props to all of the officials who can make that happen so that we can have this amazing roller derby be fair, be safe, and be fun
Right.
for the players.
Number one thing, be safe. And you've seen them recommend a couple of players go visit our medical professionals, and that is a wise move. Always safe.
I maintain it can't be fair unless it's safe,
Correct.
and it can't be fun unless it's fair. So safety is the foundation of the whole thing.
I like it. I like it.
All right, looks like we're getting back to play.
If we get any news about
The
that
official review, we
we'll
will
let you know.
absolutely let you know.
Raging Cajun facing off against Dr. Feelgood. These are the two higher scores.
Dr. Feelgood just popping right out of the
Right.
middle of that pack. I mean, being chased by a Denver blocker.
Raging,
Barely makes it a third of the way around the track before Raging Cajun comes out behind him.
Raging Cajun not going to be outdone. Does skip over the inside, makes it out, but was able to pick up one.
It's a 4-1 jam, so that puts it to 137 Texas, 138 Denver.
This is a 1-point game again.
I believe if you did in fact pay for your entire stream, you'll only need the edge. Or really, you'll actually need the whole stream for this one. This jam starting, rolling, not very fast, but just moving along. That's 1-2-6 on Texas. Lambo Arfides again. Lambo has been a much more notable jammer in the second half as opposed to that powerful pivot roll.
Something about Lambo has figured out a few things out there. It has been very effective.
Ferguson, number 1-8, jamming for Denver. Had the star off in the pack there. A little bit of misdirection. Not going to get lead.
Oh.
Comes out into scoring position, but Lambo shuts that jam down, picks up the points.
That is Texas in the lead.
I believe that is a
lead
lead change.
So one blocker apiece in the Rydell penalty box. Will make it even on the track, but both teams down one.
Both teams lining up close to the 5-stride jam line as this jam starts.
Oh!
That's the enabler for Texas, and Ragin' Cajun getting lead for Denver.
Just running with arms flying up the inside lane, picks up lead jammer.
Was that not just running, but running sideways?
It was like on
Who even does that? These teams
these
do, apparently.
people. Yes, these people. So
That
the
jam-
Raging Cajun picks up 4, calls it off. We're at 3 points difference. Texas 145, Denver 142. We're just a few seconds over 10 and a half minutes left in the second half of game number 3. Texas Men's Derby, the Outlaws in black. And Denver Men's Ground Control in white.
So, Rippy, would you like some news about that last official
I
review?
would love it.
So it turns out the official review was about a jammer cut, and there wasn't enough information to do anything with that review. But when discovering that, they found out that there was a back block that was missed. So it ended up not doing any change except changing out what the penalty code was on the sheet.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a little bit weird, and it took a while to figure out, and I totally understand how they get
Yes.
there.
you know, roller derby is run by humans. And
I think we should switch to robot roller derby runners.
No!
But then we'd have to come up with all of the programming, and I don't want to do that.
Right, yeah, no.
So this jam ending.
So Lindsay picking up the star there at the very end of that jam, but Texas called it off before Lindsay could put any points on the board.
Really effective jam there for Texas, putting 9 points on the board. Pushes it to 154 in favor of Texas to Denver's 142. Everybody once again lining up at the 5-stride pivot line. I'm sorry, the 5-stride jammer line.
Yeah,
Goodness, it's a
they're a lot of
jammer on the
work.
left.
So that's a
really tight pack. 2 blockers right there on the Denver Jammer. So Denver Jammer 7-2 Raging Cajun getting held down by Tip.
Lambo Arfides out of the pack as lead, but oh my goodness, look how fast those skaters are coming around. I don't think
It practically has a shadow on Denver.
1-1.
Oh, you get a point, and you get a point, and I'm never doing that joke again.
It was still funny.
I know, but it's 22 years old. That joke can buy beer.
Yes, it can. Why doesn't it do that?
I don't know, because then we'd all get beer.
I know. Send it to the store.
All right, middle between the lines here. Everybody lined up. Full 5-on-5. Ferguson going down the outside again, running sideways, picking up lead, and just taking those hits, stepping into them, and moving past.
It's the enabler working to get past the last blocker. Does so. Out of the pack. Ferguson battling through on the inside.
Let's see if Texas picked up any points here.
1.
Looks like Texas picked up 1, but that was to 4 for Denver. So that puts it to 156-147 Texas up.
7.5 minutes. This is just too close.
I can't make a call on this one.
I can't.
We're just all going to have to watch it together.
Both teams have come, put a lot of points on the board.
Yeah.
One little twist of fate and something else happens. It's just been
one power jam, one
Yes.
perfect jam. I mean, this is almost nothing could that we can predict, I should say. Denver picking
Right.
up the lead, but again, practically having a shadow. I mean, barely a quarter of a track behind comes out the Texas Jammer.
Flying up. Now, I want to give props to Alchemist Prime right there. Holding back a blocker so that his jammer could pass and pick up that point and call it off without risking too much. So that was the point.
I mean, when every point matters,
Yes.
that's the sort of blocker action that can really change the outcome of a game that's this close.
Just that awareness of saying, I can hold this one person that's right
Yeah.
here, and my jammer can pass this person, and I've got that point, and that's amazing.
And the jammer to know to look for that.
Right, exactly.
The jammer to look and say, oh, there's someone held down, I can take that point.
Right. So Lambo Arfides back on the line here for Texas. Ferguson held up there in a very tight wall of Texas, but finds an outside lane.
Looked like 257 Schneider and 89 Alchemist Prime just forming a little channel down the outside of the track so that Ferguson could just walk down the outside of the track on tiptoes.
So Ferguson has taken a couple of large hits and has gotten winded a couple of times. Just gotten that air knocked out of him a couple times.
But with control of the jam, is able to call it off
Right.
and not really suffer anything for it. In fact, pick up 2 points.
I think that's maybe, and I'm just speculating here. I'm not on the bench and I don't know what they're talking about, but I would speculate that might be why he's not as often in the jammer
Yes.
rotation as he has when we started out this game.
Absolutely. I mean, you absolutely have to think about fatigue when you're working with these players.
And the fact that they have to play multiple times.
Meanwhile, Denver picking up lead again. That's 7-2 Raging Cajun, also known as Stelly.
Oh,
But look at that. They're practically pacing each other coming around the track.
Oh.
And in fact, a little bit of contact there puts 151, the enabler, just barely ahead. So now it's who knows whose point this is going to be.
this is going to be how good of a jammer and blocker can I be at once. And I think
I see two points picked
Yeah.
up there by Denver.
I think the Raging Cajun was able to slip past those 2 hips again because the blockers had made it hard for the opposition to get ahead of them. He was able to come in and pass those 2 blockers at the back.
Absolutely, and taking advantage of the shape of the track too,
Right.
because did that pass
Yes.
by cutting in hard on turn 2 there, where the track is forcing you out of bounds or
Right.
towards the outside at that
Right.
point.
Exactly.
So it's work to keep
The
yourself.
centripetal force.
Yeah, keep yourself in on the track there. Next jam started close to the 5-stride jammer line. Sparrow trying to come up the outside, but meeting all 3 meeting 3 Texas blockers who just send Sparrow out of bounds.
And that's Dr. Feelgood, who's been a great performer with the star so far this game. Is out as lead jammer. Everybody falling around turn number 1. Dr. Feelgood picking up a cut track.
Cut track. Thought about the he thought about the blocker would hit him, but didn't pay attention to the fact that 2 other Denver blockers who he had already gotten ahead of.
I'm sorry.
No, it's 2 other Denver blockers had moved up the inside line, and suddenly he was cutting 2 Denver blockers.
Yes. I'm sorry. There was a pile up there. Sparrow trying to get up, and people just falling on him.
Ow.
But he is up now, trying to get through the pack, looking for the star pass, but...
Or maybe just having the star off. I mean, he's had the star in his hand for a while.
Getting knocked around there.
This jam is going to go the full 2 minutes because Dr. Feelgood was on a scoring pass, did have lead.
And is out of the box now. Oh!
And Sparrow's going to get a break. Unfortunately, get a break by heading to the penalty box.
Right.
The Rydell penalty box for a low block, which is not what Denver needs right now with this close of a game. I mean, this is a 10-point game right now, but we've got 26 seconds left in this jam, and I'm not totally sure whether Sparrow's going to make it out of the box before the jam ends or the other way around. So might look for an opening star pass on the next jam.
And that was one of those low blocks that was really unfortunate, just people in the wrong position and just getting their skates tangled up, but it was in fact a low block. And
if I had to guess, I'd say it was they look tired low block.
Yeah.
Which, you play a whole game.
Yes.
I mean, you train a ton, but this is still really hard work.
Right.
And it looks like that jam ended with Sparrow having just a couple of seconds. I see 2 or 3 fingers up there, which implies to me that Sparrow has just a couple of seconds left in this penalty.
But that was a 15-point jam by Texas. They really wanted to put a cushion in there.
Yeah.
We've only got a little over 2 minutes left in this game.
So this is the moment for Denver to bring absolutely everything. I mean, they have already proven they deserve to be here.
Yes.
They deserve to be in this game. They almost are proving they deserve to be ranked higher. I mean, we'll see what happens in the next ranking cycle.
Right.
Because they're really showing what they're made of. And now it's the chance to see if they can turn that into a win, into an upset here in this game, the 3rd game on 2018 North American MRDA Championships.
I really think this is one of the larger leads we've had, except for that very first, the 4 or 5 jams when Denver had such a huge lead. But I think these teams, this is 20 points. I think this is one of the biggest stretches we've had between the two. They've just kept it so close the whole entire way.
Absolutely. I think we had that early lead coming into Jam 8, and then it's shrunk, and since then it's just been back and forth.
Yep. So I don't count anybody out now.
Oh, not even close. 20 points is still well within. Like we've had 18-point jams. I don't think we've had any 20-point jams in this game, but that's 15
a testament to the defense,
18
right?
These things can happen.
Yes. The defensive work out here has been so great that it's kept the jams to... we've only had, we probably had several double-digit jams, but not like huge blowout jams, like 20, 30-point jams.
No.
They've been maybe a 10, 12, 14.
I wouldn't want to try and put up a 20-point jam against one of these teams.
No,
So we had a short official timeout there after the team timeout. I did not see an official review hand signal there, so this was not a review. This was just the officials talking about something. Now, I don't know if that was in response to what one of the coaches said, if it was in response to what the officials came up with, but anything they do to make sure that the last couple minutes of this go well is very worthwhile.
So Lemmy Arfidi's wearing the star for Texas, and that's the Raging Cajun wearing the star for Denver.
So Stelly on your screen, that's Raging Cajun, out with lead.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they both did it. They both did an apex jump.
Yeah.
Time, but only one of them landed it. The Raging Cajun picking up a cut track will head to the Rydell penalty box.
So that means this jam is going to run the full 2 minutes. Now, both teams still have timeouts left.
Oh my goodness.
Cut track again.
This is a break for Denver.
Absolutely. I mean, Texas has a few points in the pocket.
So Raging Cajun only has to sit in the box for 10 seconds, which means that maybe Lambeau only has to sit there for 10 seconds. I'm just
roughly.
estimating. Yeah. And so
Lambeau's already standing, already out of the box. So both teams out and able to score. This makes it a lot easier, and this is a scoring pass.
Another penalty picked up there by the Raging Cajun. So we will run this down 23 seconds left on the jam clock.
I think that's enough time for Raging Cajun to make it back out of the box.
My heart is sad because Raging Cajun is very sad right now. Just looking down. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
And that jam comes
And there
to a
is an
close.
official review coming from Disco Acres off of the Denver bench.
So that is the 22-point jam. That has got to be the highest jam.
I'm pretty sure it is. Unfortunately, I don't trust announcer math, so I don't think I
Right.
have the numbers written down right here to know
when
for
you're
sure.
trying to talk about the game and also keep stats, sometimes I don't trust myself either.
I trust the officials to do
Right.
this.
I do too. A lot of apex jumping in this game, especially here in the last few minutes.
I can't tell you why there was an umbrella there.
Sometimes we just like to get pictures of things people are doing in the crowd. It is, in fact, not raining right now in Salem.
Nor is it raining inside the building.
It is not.
And nobody... Yeah, there's no rain. I can't even think of any rain-related jokes.
Well, I just came from North Carolina, and there happens to be a rather large tropical storm.
I imagine
that
there's a bit
just
of rain there.
Visited us, and so, yeah, it was a lot of rain.
Yeah.
We really don't need any more. We're good.
And since you mentioned that, the storm that came up, I'm very sad for the residents of the Florida Panhandle who are harmed greatly by this. I'm sure there will be many opportunities for all of us to help coming in the next couple of weeks because
Yes.
there's going to be plenty of need there.
Yes.
But let's get back to roller derby.
Yes. We'll give you any information about that we have, which is not a lot right now. So the sense I'm getting from this, and I don't know what the official review is, but I do know that this doesn't look to me to be like a strictly strategically called official review. This
No.
looks like something that someone really believes needs to be overturned in some way, and so I'm eager to hear what they saw on the track.
Of course, it's interesting because at this point in the game, even if this is, obviously, if this official review is upheld, it won't change points earned.
Right.
So what it can change is it can give Denver an opportunity that they might not otherwise have.
Right.
If they, I don't know what they're asking for, but if they successfully get the Texas jammer in the box or something like that, they can have that advantage to give them the potential to make up this gap. But it's still a pretty big gap. What are we looking
big
at there? A
gap.
37-point gap? Again, announcer math. You do the math at home. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I think you're correct, sir.
But it looks like a 37-point gap. And, that's doable. That's within the realm of possible. But we will be standing up and jumping up and down and yelling and screaming if that happens.
I will be very excited. But that rolling whistle does mean we're going to get back now. Our head official is not approaching the microphone, so we may not get an update right now, but we'll try to get what information we can. Ferguson facing off against the enabler. Both of the jammers kind of stealthily approaching that line, and it looks like the enabler's out as lead jammer. Ferguson getting pushed out around turn number 1. Will be recycled back
So
all the way.
The enabler looking back to the looking back to the team coach to find out if they're supposed to keep it running. The period time has expired. So at this point, if the jam is called, the game is over.
Yes, there we go.
And there it is called, but with a few more points. So took that risk, put those points on the board, put 4 more points on the board. That brings the tentative final to 198-157. Give it just a second to make sure there's no other math being done or fixed. And I'm going to say, you'll see it go to official in the corner of your screen when it goes there.
I don't think Denver can be anything other than really proud of themselves right now.
Absolutely.
For being ranked, the differential in rankings, and then just coming out and really putting a scare into Texas, I think, a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're still in this game, are they not? I mean, you've got the bracket there.
Yes.
They're going to get to play again. When's the next time they get to play here?
Okay, so Texas will play Bridgetown at 7, and then Denver will play the loser of the next game Saturday at 3.
So you're going to get to see Denver play again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Against either Tyne and Fear or Vancouver.
So no matter which way that comes out, that's going to be an interesting game as well.
Yes.
And Texas will get to go up against Bridgetown, which is at 7 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
So you get to see Texas play again at 7 p.m. tonight.
Again, I mean, they need to take up some serious rest right now.
Yes, absolutely. Rest, get their head together. I mean, it's what, 2:30, almost 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
They basically have a few hours to rest, heal their wounds,
right,
and come back in
put a lot of
for
ice
the very next game
on themselves. Yes.
So
we, I believe, are going to have an interview.
So what do you think were the real keys to this game? I mean, I have to say it was definitely hard on Denver to lose a player to an expulsion early on in the game.
And then they had some penalty. They would have like little rounds or little runs of penalty trouble, sometimes with a jammer that really. And then Texas was able to take advantage of the times when
absolutely
when Denver did have a jammer in the box. So
absolutely.
Props to both teams. But I got to tell you, the defense, I think, is the story.
Yeah, the fact that as soon as once both teams had everybody on the floor, the score just wasn't moving very quickly.
Right, exactly.
That speaks really well to the defense, and it was moving, which speaks well to the offense.
Right.
Chipping out a few points here, a few points there. That's what kept both teams in the game the entire time.
Right. I just think they both should be really proud of themselves.
Absolutely. Fantastic game, great game to watch.
But that's what I think.
Wow. I'm really happy to get to watch exciting derby. That
was really fun.
It's what you expect out of a big event like this.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to have an interview. Maybe? Okay.
We're getting the signal to
keep talking to you, so
talk a little bit more.
Let's talk to you about some of the things that are happening.
And while we do that, I'm going to put some of the game stats up. So you won't see us as easily. We're still here, I promise.
Yes.
And
you can put it right over our faces. That's fine.
There we go.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Aren't these amazing looking stats?
I love technology.
Isn't that cool? So you can absolutely see that there were a handful of times where power jams really turned the score one direction or the other, but ultimately it was chip a few points away here, chip a few points away there.
Yeah, there were only just a couple of big dips in that wave there too.
And to look at the penalties again, finishing out here.
Mm-hmm.
No foul outs and a nice even second half for Texas. Again, few penalties here and there. A few folks are going to have to look at what their penalties are because, you see a pattern.
And Pound Town, keeping it
Yeah.
in check in the second half. Walking into second half with 4 penalties, only picking up 2 more. That is a reasonable number of penalties for a half, right? It's 2.
Absolutely. Well, look at the whole team, It's all over. So a penalty or 2.
Mm-hmm. So everybody really calming it down.
And then Denver, obviously having the one expulsion there for Baby Stelly number 4. But everybody else, penalty here, penalty there.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of players, Chet Knight, for instance, very effective at some really key points, especially in the early game. I remember seeing, White 7-7 out there doing some really good stuff and doing it very clean.
Okay. So I think we're going to have an interview now. And so we're going to turn you over to a place where there's a camera and some people.
Interview with Texas Men's Roller Derby. We have TJ and Dr. Feelgood. So, first question is, what are you guys proud of from this last game?
I would say it's more of teamwork. We came together at maybe end of the first half, and we were able to basically close it out from there.
Yeah, I think obviously we didn't come here with a strong team. We're missing a lot of people, but for the people that we had, we came together and came out with a win. So.
Yeah, it definitely was a nail biter for sure. You guys have never played Denver before. What kind of preparation did you do for this game?
Basically, we kind of just did like what any team would do: watch game tape. Kind of just looked out for their base of the number one skater, which we knew was Stelly, and try to imitate his same moves at practice and kind of shut it down.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was. Yeah, you got it at the end.
Got it. Sorry. All right. So what do you think was like the pivotal moment of this game?
When Feelgood got black and started really skating hard. Sorry, is that too much? Okay.
I would say when I actually came back from that broken a kingpin.
Yeah. All right. So what are you guys gonna go do for preparation for your next game?
Probably take a whole bunch of Tylenol because my head hurt and my leg is shot.
Yeah. Lick our wounds. We know it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, they're the number 2 seed, so just give it the best we got. So.
And that's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Texas Men's Roller Derby. They're going to bring it, right?
Oh yeah, sauce it up.
Okay. Yes.
Sauce it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.